What is good, Regis recipients? How are y'all doing today? Let me know in the comment section. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Regis Reflections. Y'all already know each and every episode we have a different athlete on this podcast. And on this week, on this episode, we have Miss Rebecca. Say what's up to the people, Rebecca.
Hello, what's up? How are you doing, guys?
Ah, how are you doing today, Rebecca? How's your mental health on a scale of 1 to 10?
Um, Today it's
Today.
been an eight.
An
I'll
eight?
give it an eight. Not
Okay.
a whole week an eight,
Okay.
but today specifically it's an eight.
It is Friday. It's the end of the week. It's the end of the week.
That's
It's
why
the
it's an eight.
weekend. Got any big plans for the weekend, or is it just rather
Mm,
calm?
I have blue plans for tonight actually. Going with like a group of some Notre Dame students, but like from the church that I go to, Gospel City. If everybody's going there,
Amen.
say hello to me. Every time you see me in Gospel City.
Amen.
Um, but we're gonna go grab dinner, and I'm just excited for getting to like spend time with my friends and studying for MCAT Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh. Hearing that word. That word is just
Mhm.
nerve wracking, nerve wracking. MCAT. I've heard a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah.
Praise be, praise be. So, Regis recipient Rebecca here is on the Notre Dame fencing team. And before we get started, I just have one quick question. So, the sword that you all have, right?
Yeah.
When you all are fighting against each other and like say it tags you, does it personally hurt or does it feel like a bump? How does that? I've always wanted to know.
Okay, so we have like obviously protection,
Mhm.
like equipment. It's supposed to protect you, but sometimes it depends how hard the person, the opponent is hitting you. It can hurt. And also like different regions of your body hurt more than others, like where you have more fat or you have like the bone like on the shin, like it can hurt. You get bruises,
Oh,
a bunch of bruises, but it's a fun sport. You get to like hit somebody else and then you can yell like, what's better than this?
that's true. That's actually so true. I didn't even think about that. You could just hit other people and have fun and not get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's such a good sport because like you have a bad day, you have to go practice anyway. Might as well like let some of that bad energy like on the strip.
Check out fencing. Check out fencing Regis events. So, Rebecca, where are you originally from?
So I was originally born in Romania, and then 6 years ago, getting closer in 10 days, I moved to New Jersey.
Jersey?
Yeah, I'm a Jersey person.
What?
Apparently, everybody's like, "You're a Jersey girl now."
What?
Yeah.
So is fencing popular, would you say, in Jersey
Um.
or even Romania?
Okay. I think Romania it's less popular for sure. Because we only have like two clubs, I think, or like a cup. Now it's getting like more popular.
Mhm.
Um, but when I started, I never heard of fencing. Actually gymnastics before, and then I switched to fencing, and then I was like, okay, I'm good at this. Let me just keep going. Hold on. I was 6 years old when I started.
Mhm.
And then I just continue. And then when I moved to New Jersey, I think I knew of like only two clubs at that point. And but like US, it's like more popular. People like know about fencing. If I tell somebody, oh, I'm a fencer, they know what I mean. But if I go to Romania, I tell them I'm a fencer, I have to describe. I have to like tell them about movies that I've seen that had parts of like fencing in it, but like just swords. Like I don't know.
So who was it? So was it someone special? Was it a certain person to get you to switch from gymnastics on to fencing, or did you find it on your own?
So my grandparents wanted me to do a sport when I was a kid, when I grew up. And I started gymnastics, but they told me that I had the body for it. I was 5.5 at that point. I was like, I don't know how you can tell, but I'm very thankful that they told me that I had no body for it because I would not want to like be a gymnast. Like I would have like different experience. So I really am thankful for God, I guess, because at that point, like, nobody in my family knew about fencing, and we just went to the next building, and it was fencing. Because it was like a big complex, like sport complex.
Mhm.
So it was like, let me explore. Um,
Exploration. Mm,
so fencing was there.
sure.
Yeah,
So when you switched to fencing, did you do fencing clubs in Romania?
yeah. I always did fencing clubs. I never did like school fencing.
Mm.
Like I think the first time when I experienced fencing in school was here in Notre Dame. I knew about like high school fencing,
Mhm.
but I never was part of it.
So what would you say would be the difference from club fencing in Romania to say club or just fencing in general here in America? What would be some differences?
Um, Definitely I feel like the atmosphere, at least like a clubs, because basically you're paying to go there.
Mhm.
Um, and that's how it's like basically in US, you're paying for it and like the coaches are like, okay, I'm giving the money. I'm just gonna try to like provide all my advices to this person or like whoever's paying more, sometimes they get like better coaching. So I feel like that's been like the money
Mhm.
play a big role in US. But when I grew up in Romania, because Festi was not popular, people were like not paying that much. It's like it was like not that much of a money,
Mhm.
but who was more talented, who wanted to actually do fencing, and who the coaches saw like a potential in, they were like more invested in.
Wow, wow, interesting
Yeah.
club. So I know personally since I moved from Paris to Atlanta to that transition, but you moved from Romania to Jersey. And some people may think, oh, like that, the glorious travel, once you move to America, life is great, everything is all sunshines and rainbows. But for you personally, how was that transition just moving from one country to a completely, entirely new country and you're doing your sport? How was that for you, especially mentally?
It was very tough. It was everybody in my family was very excited to move because it was like new opportunities, like everything, the life is gonna be a lot better.
Mhm.
But for me, it was kind of depressing, I want to say. Very sad because I was like, I think I was 16, 17 at that point, and I was like, that's like at the peak of like adolescence, and I was like, I made my all these friends, and now I'm living them, and um, I just feel like my life completely changed. I think I've changed a lot, but mentally at that point, I was like at the lowest that I've ever been, because I just feel very lonely. I It was a whole year of like me not want to be exposed to other people, being basically locking the house when the door was open. Like I was the one locking the house basically. And did not want to open that door to like being exposed. I just want to be by myself and didn't want to get out of that somehow. And by the glory of God, I got out of it. Thank
Mm.
God. Like I was a very dark point in my life, but
Mm.
I feel like that's when I encountered God the most.
God, that's true. That's true. He comes in the toughest moments,
Yeah.
toughest times. So when you were going through that time period, was there a certain where did you speak out about it, or did you keep it in when you through yourself, or and how were you able to kind of get yourself out of that?
I feel like I did not want to talk about it because I was like, I know each one of us were dealing with something
Hmm.
because we were all of us. It was like me, my parents, and my brother. We transitioned from like having this life that we've like set kind of for us, and then completely all of us, even my parents, like jobs, they changed their careers fully. Like my mom changed it from a pharmacist to like being an accountant. Like it's just like
Sacrificial.
weird, like changes. And I knew each one of us were dealing with something, and I didn't want to add on top of that like my own problems or like what I was dealing with. So I just kept it inside, and then I think little by little we all like open up with
Hmm.
whatever we're going through, and just realizing that we are like not by ourselves. We're all dealing with this, and like we're all in this together. Um, Kind of we were like pushing each other to like get out of it and like being exposed to like try to face our fears.
So you all kind of you all knew that you each had your own
Yeah.
struggles, and but you all came together
Yeah.
and kind of slowly opened up.
Yeah.
Would you say that helped you tremendously throughout that time?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think I was like considering that I was like lonely.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's what I was struggling with like the most. And then moving to college, it was the same thing like freshman year. It was like just having that loneliness, like feeling lonely.
Hmm.
And um just God telling me like, no, you're like not alone. I'm here always with you. You're loved. That's like my always like my thing. And now when I'm going back kind of to that place, I will never like reach probably that place again. Because like now I kind of know like how to face it differently. But I always like remind myself that you're not yourself like by yourself and you're loved because those like are very big important things.
That's true.
That like make me like get my head up.
People are always gonna be there, y'all. Understand. So building upon that college part, so you moved from Romania to Jersey, and now you're here in South Bend. And that was a crazy. It's a crazy just that cheer effect. So you talked about the transition from Romania to Jersey, but what was that transition like? Now you're going from Jersey to South Bend, Indiana, to here attending the University of Notre Dame for fencing. How was that transition like for you personally?
Um, so one thing that when you say all these transitions that I went through from Romania to New Jersey to here, it was like because Romania, I grew up in the city, so it was like basically from city to like
Mhm.
suburbs and then to like here middle of nowhere. It's just like like I feel like it's very more isolated,
It
even
is.
though I feel like here I'm like like where I feel like more in a community,
Mhm.
even though it's just supposed to be like isolated. So the transition from New Jersey to South Bend, um, I feel like I was always in a different group than like my other peers because I feel like I was older. I'm older than like my peers because when I moved to New Jersey, I had to repeat my sophomore year. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of like I feel like I was a year behind. Like I feel like I could not fit with them.
Mhm.
Um, because whatever they were doing, I was thinking that, oh, they're very immature. So I was like put myself in this like separate category. And did not want to like it was the same thing that when I went moved to New Jersey from Romania. I feel like kind of in the same bubble that I put myself. Like don't want to be exposed to other people, don't want to like meet new people. I just want to go through the emotions and just get to the next year
Mhm.
and do it over and over until I graduate. But I had like very good people around me.
Mhm.
Um, and they decided to pursue to like have a friendship with me and to like get to know me. Um, and I'm very thankful for those and I still have like those friendships.
Mhm.
Shout out to them. You know
Bye
who you
bye.
are.
Yeah.
But I'm very thankful for those people because like they made my experience in Notre Dame a lot different and more enjoyable.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So building on that transition, yet again, what was the transition from New Jersey playing doing fencing to now you're at Notre Dame on the D1 collegiate level fencing?
Uh, on the fencing aspect of moving from New Jersey to South Bend, it's been completely different because I was in a small club in New Jersey.
Mhm.
And then here the team is huge. So just having all those like getting to have that big family, it just reminded me of like, being back in Romania because that's how it was when I was in Romania. I have like this big team. Um and it's it was I liked it. I feel like my freshman year
Hmm.
um did not came with any expectations for me like fencing wise. I just wanted to come in and continue doing the sport I enjoyed and loved. Um but having all these people like left and right like pushes you to do your best and to like reach like your goals and like even push harder than that. It was just a new experience that I probably encountered before, but like I just did not see it
Mhm.
and it just made me like want to reach farther. Okay, like I reached this goal. I'm enjoying with this big team, big family, and then move on. Like trying to continue like reaching for that, not settling for like whatever I already achieved.
Mhm. Do you like having like kind of that big family, kind of big team in a sense?
Um,
Fencing.
I feel like big families always have like issues anyway. Like we are having our own issues, but at the end of the day, like if we don't have like that many people, I feel like we're not exposed to that many like diversities and like cultural differences because like there are a bunch of like international students but there are
Mhm.
people also from like everywhere in the US, so being exposed to all of that you encounter like something different and you learn something from each one
Mm,
of
mm,
those people.
interesting. Learning is key. So now you're a rising senior here at the University of Notre Dame, and you've been on the fencing team for say
3 years.
3 years. Has there ever been a certain practice or match or even a moment where it just wasn't your day? It wasn't it wasn't going your way in a sense, or you kind of going through it mentally? And if so, how are you able to pull yourself out of that hole?
um yeah, actually it was this year.
Mm,
um this year has been a tough year, but specifically like we had a teammate that passed away. Um, and we had to compete the week after that. We found like we got the news.
mm,
And we were at actually NCAA's regionals, like the regionals, to qualify for NCAA's. Um, and I was just going through motions. I I feel like I don't deal good like with like getting these news. Like I feel like that anyway is changing you a bit. Like, um, so I was not into it at all. I was just like going much. I feel like I was a different person. I was like not there, and I knew it that I was like not in there, like not fencing wise, not a person. Like I wanted to be by myself. I remember putting my headphones in and just like being like by myself. I didn't want to talk with my teammates. I didn't want to like just want to have time with myself.
Mhm.
But that was also a time when I was like when I was putting my headphones in, it was like worship, right? Like music. I was like I was like, God, I need you right now because I know I need to perform good. Like I need to perform well so I could qualify. But I also need to like address this problem at the same time. So I was like, um, I just didn't know what to do. I was like, I know it seems like from outside I'm not caring about anything that's going left and right and when I'm on the strip, but I was like caring. So halfway through the tournament, I went to um one of the coaches that we have and I told him I was like, I just don't feel like myself.
Mhm.
And I know I can do a lot better. I know at that point I was doing fine. Like my motion, like whatever I was going like doing on the strip, it was kind of working, but I was not enjoying. I just wanted to like go back home. Um, so he was like, just try to like put everything in a box right now and focus what's here, be present, and then when you are done here, open that box and reflect on it. And I feel like that was very important. And it just like he was like, just breathe deeply, like just take inhale, exhale.
Mhm.
Um, and that helped me. It was like nothing much. He didn't tell me like this is the solution. You're doing this and you're gonna be fine. And everything is gonna be perfect. It was just something that I probably just needed to hear because I heard of that before. Like, um, I heard of people like referring to like putting everything in a box and then like just open it like later and addressing the problems. But it was like somebody like telling me again and like my mind actually like hearing it and like, okay, it's coming from a coach. Um, and I was like, this is my last like solution right now, because otherwise I'm just gonna like go deeper and deeper into like whatever I'm going through right now. And it's like not the moment to do it. Um, so I think that was like one day that I feel like through my whole 3 years here, I was like at my lowest in yeah, in everything, I think. Fencing and like life, you know.
Wow, wow, rest in peace, to that student. Sorry
Yeah.
that you and the rest of the team had to kind of go through that. It's tragic to hear, unfortunately,
Yeah.
sadly. Um, but being on the fencing team and being a student here at the University of Notre Dame, you're prone to traveling. You're going to travel to other states, play other teams, regionals. And I know with you being from Romania as well, I know you said you've traveled internationally as
Yeah.
well. How has that traveling aspect been for you, being on the road, and even sometimes even when you have work, because you still have work to do, because you're
Yeah.
a student athlete. How was that, and how have you handled that?
I think being because I started fencing when I was young, I always did school and fencing.
Mhm.
So I think I got a handle of like how to deal with both of them. Even like when I'm traveling, um, it was like I knew from the beginning like what I need to do, and like it was like okay. So I usually was taking like no, I got my notes from like other students that I had in class. I always had a friend in class, and I was asking, "Hey, can you send me the notes?" And I keep up with my notes and my homework. And I had like a good communication with professors and teachers. Um, but I think my issue is like not keeping up with the work necessarily. Is like the traveling aspect. I feel like that can be very because you are not in control of it most of the
Mhm.
time because you don't know if you're gonna the flight is gonna be delayed or not. Like that, it's out of your control. And I feel like that was one thing that I had to deal like growing up with, being okay, not being in control.
Mhm.
And I'm still dealing with it. Like I'm a person that loves being in control of my everything, all my decisions in my life.
Mhm.
And I want to know like what's next. But that's like very tough. I feel like when you're traveling, like you are not sure if you're actually gonna get to class tomorrow because your flight might get delayed. And it actually happened to me this year when I came back from actually Paris. I
Oh.
came from a World Cup and it was like that snowstorm that we had here in Chicago, South Bend. And I remember waking up ready to leave Paris. I was like,
Mm,
okay, I'm gonna get in, and then tomorrow I'm going to school because it was the first day of school classes.
mm,
Um, but then I was eating my breakfast and I get like this. At first, it was delayed and then it was canceled. That's another problem. It was like being canceled. I was like, okay, I can deal with being delayed, but cancel. I thought I just felt like okay, the worst thing that could have happened, it happened. And I just didn't know what to do. I started panicking, and then I was like, God, you have a reason for this.
that's true.
So I just went to the airport and they were like, we are just gonna give you a hotel, meals, and stay for one more night. And I was like, you sure you cannot put me in a different flight?
Hmm.
Like I was trying my hardest to actually get back to Selbin and be here for the first day of classes. But God had a different plan for me. So I was like, okay, God, you wanted me to like take a day to rest. And I was like, I'm gonna listen to you.
Mm.
And I was very thankful and grateful for that day. Like a day being here, like the first day of class. I knew I was like, it's not important first day of classes, but I'm a person that I feel like even if I miss the first day, I'm behind. But it's like
Mm.
first day, like it's just first week is like the easiest, not the easiest way, but like when you get to know the
Yeah.
professors and like
Syllabus
process
and
syllabus, yeah.
mhm.
So I was like, I'm not missing too much, but I just feel like my world will be upside down if I miss one day of classes, and it's yeah,
That's a good approach here. That's a good approach. I like that.
yeah.
I like that. So, wait, what is your current major here at the University of Notre
Oh,
Dame?
I'm a neuroscience major with a minor in compassionate care medicine.
Neuroscience. So,
Yeah,
is that
STEM.
STEM? So,
Yeah.
you're trying to become a doctor?
Yes. Trying. Yeah, praying that I get actually become one or that I get into med school. It's a long process. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but God, you got it. But so we know you and I both know Notre Dame is an academic rigorous school. They demand a lot from us day in and day out, and you have a rather difficult and harder major. So you're challenged each and every day. But on top of that challenge, you're a D1 athlete. You're a fencer here at the University of Notre Dame. How do you find balance between the two?
um, I think having like a time and like managing my time very well,
Hmm.
it's very important. Um, and like every second that I'm not a practice or in class, it has to be dedicated to study, homework. And I don't think I was always like this. Like, yeah, I think that's how I was when I came. I was like, I'm gonna dedicate every time, every hour, every minute I get outside of school, outside of classes, outside of practice
Hmm.
to doing schoolwork. No friends, no like no parties, no nothing. Um, so now I changed that aspect because I feel like having the community is very important. I
Hmm.
think it's much more important. So the balance between academic and fencing, it all like depends of like what you where are your priorities. That's how I think of. So I do my schoolwork. I try to give my 100%. Now I'm actually trying to give my 110%. That's what the coaches tell us. I practice, but also I try to take the time to meet other people, meet like other students that are like not athletes. And like I had like some conversations with like students that are like not athletes that are like, oh, um, why don't you do this during this time? I'm like, well, I have no time to do it during that because I have either class, studying, or visiting. And I was like, this is my only free time. Or like when they ask me like to grab dinner and I have to say no, or like when they ask me to do something together and I have to say no.
Hmm.
Um, but lately I'm a person that decides to say yes more
Hmm.
because I think everything that I'm doing outside of probably of school and fencing, it's also learning experience. So I'm a person that's more open to take time and learn like from like outside like world like from the
Hmm.
world experience um but there was one thing that I want to say I forgot to say Oh yeah, that I'm very thankful for our coaches because they're very understanding. Like they understand that we are students before athletes, and they give us like time off if we need to catch on our work or if we have something big coming up, like the next day or in like that week. They're very like they're understanding like we are actually students as well, and not everything depends on like just fencing.
Mm.
So they sometimes they even told me like, you seem like you're tired. Like it just came from them. I didn't even like wanted to complain. I didn't complain. I just came to practice like normal day.
Mm.
And they're like, you seem tired. Take the day off. And I was like, thank you. I was like, I needed that, but I didn't want to express it. So it's like nice when like they read you and they know you so well.
Shout out your coaches. Shout out your coaches.
Yeah.
So I know that you're big on your faith and, mentioned going to gospel city. So how do you personally incorporate your faith, not only into your everyday life, but into your sport, into your mental, into your time being here at Notre Dame? How do you personally incorporate it?
Yeah. I think when I grew up, it was like one big thing. It was like because missing Sundays and I could not go to church because I was traveling. And
Mm.
I was like, I feel like I was not incorporating God as much as I wanted to. But now I feel like it's not all about like going to church. It's about like your relationship with God and how you glorify God with what through whatever you do. Like the way you talk, the way you just do anything can like show your relationship with God. And I just try to do small things like before a tournament, I'm just like praying and um be like, God, I'm just here. I'm enjoying this sport. You gave me this like you play like pull me in this place, like pull me into this fencing world
Mhm.
for a reason. Um and I'm like just use me to your greater plan. And I'm just trying not to be worried about like whatever the next day because I usually like I pray before a tournament like the night before, and I'm usually try to like when I'm more worried about like the outcome of the tournament because I feel like that's most of athletes deal with that. Like we want obviously to like win,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's like not everything about like winning. It's about also what you learn from that tournament. But like in those like moments when I just want to like just win, I want to be the best. I'm just like looking for like scriptures or like I'm just praying and I'm like God, just give me like calmness, like just calm like my thoughts, because those are very like the hardest actually. Like sometimes when you fence, it's like you against you because it's all mental.
It is.
So I just like pray and like whatever the outcome is, it's like God's plan
It's true.
for that day for me, and I'm gonna be thankful for it.
Amen. Leave it in God's hands. Leave it in
Yeah.
his hands. So since you're a rising senior and you're on the verge of graduating, do you personally want to continue fencing and possibly go to the Olympics? And do you see yourself with a future in fencing once you leave Notre Dame?
Um.
Or do you want to continue that med school route?
So obviously, I want to continue the medical route if I get into it. But I feel like I do want to pursue Olympics. Like I want to like try to
Mhm.
if it does a call for me. Um, because I feel like I dedicated all these like years, and sometimes I'm like, why did I dedicate all these years for like what? Even if like, and there's so many reasons. Like I think I interacted with so many people that probably I don't think I changed their lives, but probably they learned something from me and I learned so much from them. So sometimes when I'm asking like why did I committed to this sport for so many years,
Mhm.
I'm only just thinking about like why I want to continue to like get into Olympics. But and I'm like, why did I continue? Like, why am I in this sport? And I'm like, "Ugh, don't ask that question because you learn so much from it. Because
Sure.
you're like God placed you in this sport. Like, even if you don't get into Olympics, I would not want to think about fencing as a failure just
Mhm.
because I didn't get into Olympics. But I do want to try both Olympics and
Mm.
fencing. Yeah.
Okay.
There are
Okay.
so many
No,
people that did it. I'm like, why can't
yeah.
I do
Why
it?
can't you? Why
Yeah.
can't I?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that. So one final question, Rebecca, before we wrap things up. What advice would you give to listeners and viewers out there on their mental health journey?
Um, don't ignore it. Address whatever issues, because we all think like, oh, we all know that we have our own problems, but we don't want to like acknowledge them. And we just ignore them, and put them like push them to the side. If I don't see you, you're not there kind of way.
Mhm.
But no, embrace it and know that you are not alone. Know that somewhere up there loves you and somewhere out here loves you too. And you just have to sometimes like bring it out to a friend, a stranger, anybody. And it's a huge relief when you do that.
Okay, well, sure. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Regis recipients, you heard it from Miss Rebecca right here. She spoke the truth, the gospel truth. Thank you, Miss Rebecca, for joining us on this episode of Regis Reflections. Prayers up to you this upcoming fencing season and for med school. You know, you're gonna be a great doctor slash Olympian as well. Offer. So thank you again. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Regis recipients, remember, it's okay to not be okay. You matter. It's your boy JD. I'm out.